Testing. Okay, here we go. Okay, hi, and welcome to Purdell Middle School. We are going to begin with the pledge, but first, a friendly reminder that masks are required indoors as per New York State law. If you could take a moment to place a mask on or go to the front office if you require one. Please rise for the pledge. Can I get a motion to approve the agenda? Henry, second Jim. Any questions? All in favor? 7-0. Okay, Mr. Poole, Superintendent's report.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you. Just a few shout-outs to some of our clubs and buildings. Congratulations to the Global Awareness Club. They completed their coat drive, and really proud of them. They've raised around 70 adult coats that are going to a homeless shelter in Riverhead, and just over 100 children's coats going to East End Care. So thank you to the Global Awareness Club for all of their efforts. Last week, we had some wonderful middle school winter concerts. Great to have those concerts continue this year. Looking forward to the remaining concerts. I know there's one coming up for Wading River. So great job done by our entire music department, staff, and students alike. I know as well here in the middle school that students participated in a sock, hat, and glove drive in conjunction with the Academy Street Elementary School in Bayport and James School in St. James, and they were able to send sock, hats, and gloves to over 100 veterans and their families this past holiday. Last night, it was great. The MoMA, Miller Avenue Museum of Modern Art was back. It was held last night, Monday evening. I heard a great time held by all. Parents, students, and extended families had the opportunity to view student artwork, make crafts, and even visit with Santa Claus. So thank you to our Miller Avenue Parent-Teacher Organization and the Miller Avenue staff for hosting that amazing and wonderful event. And then a congratulations to the varsity wrestling team who won the Tioga tournament last weekend. So congratulations to them. I know we just approved them going, and they're looking to have a great season this year. Just a quick note: budget meetings are in full swing in the school district. Meeting with administrative teams and reviewing things, and that work is well underway, and in just a couple of months, we will be having budget workshops and starting that regular series of budget meetings and budget discussions as we get into the new school year. I also want to share, I know a letter to the board, of course knows the letter, and to the community, to our local elected officials, on the potential of mask mandates connected to attendance in schools in New York State. So this letter will be mailed to all elected officials that represent us locally. Dear elected official, thank you for all of your efforts to support our students and families throughout the pandemic. In the Shoreham-Wading River Central School District, we have had full in-person learning and extracurricular programming since the fall of 2020 for all of our K-12 students. Our students, staff, and families have collaborated together to effectively implement the New York State COVID-19 requirements for schools. The district has successfully prevented school spread to date. In fact, the positivity rate in our school has been substantially lower than in the surrounding community throughout the pandemic. The district prioritized in-person learning because there were no comparable substitutes. The district goal during the pandemic has been to maximize student attendance so they can thrive academically, socially, artistically, and athletically. In recent actions, New York State has implemented COVID-19 vaccine mandates. We are writing today to caution New York State about the enactment of any potential COVID-19 mandates for K-12 students that are enforced with the threat of exclusion from school. It is very clear in our community and in regional surveys that should a COVID-19 vaccine mandate be put in place, many families will opt to disenroll their students from school. Currently, in the Los Angeles Unified School District, which has a COVID-19 vaccine mandate in place, there are 34,000 students about to be excluded from school as a result of the mandate. Vaccine hesitancy is high in Suffolk County for parents in regards to their children. As of December 13th, 2021, only 22% of children aged 5 through 11 have been vaccinated. If a new vaccination mandate were to come into effect mid-year, many families will refuse the vaccination for their children and will not have adequate time to prepare for alternative forms of schooling. Students that are homeschooled will no longer receive the incredible benefits of participating in live instruction with their peers and being involved in extracurricular activities, opportunities that they would have otherwise not chosen to forfeit. A COVID-19 vaccine mandate, coupled with an enforced school exclusion, may serve to further expand learning gaps for large groups of students across the state. This, in turn, will again upend these children's lives, which are now just returning to some normalcy.
Thank you, Mr. Poole. Now we're lucky enough to have student performance. Thank you. Mhm. What a special treat that was. Thank you so much for volunteering your time, and thank you to Mr. Finnerty for that beautiful performance. Amazing. And those concerts were awesome. Really nice to have after the lapse of time last year. So now we're going to be hearing from our student council. We have representatives from our student council here with us tonight.
Yes, so tonight we have representatives from Student Council, Brielle Burtz and Michael Ceschini are going to be giving you an update on what's been going on with Student Council at the Brent Middle School. So
Great,
come on up,
thank
guys.
you.
Good evening, Board of Education administrators and community members. I am Brielle Burtz, Vice President of Student Council, and I'm here with my fellow officer, Michael. We are here tonight to tell you about all the accomplishments of Prodel Student Council this year. So far this fall, Student Council has helped out with Red Ribbon Week to educate our school of the dangers of drugs, alcohol, and bullying. We organized a Halloween dance in October and had a huge turnout. Additionally, we had a gift card collection during the months of October and November and raised enough money to support 15 families in our community during the Thanksgiving holiday and beyond.
Hello, I am Michael Ceschini, Treasurer of Student Council. We also held our third annual Diabetes Awareness Day on November 12th. We created a sea of blue in the middle school by encouraging everyone to participate to support and recognize our students and staff who fight diabetes. We need announcements to educate our school about diabetes and the difference between type 1 and type 2 diabetes. We recently began designing a Spirit Week for the beginning of January to show school spirit and to welcome everyone back to school. These are the activities that we have worked on this year as we continue to help our school. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. That was wonderful. I know that Halloween dance was very well attended, so good job on that.
So good evening once again. I appreciate the opportunity to speak to the Board of Education tonight and community members. So I'm going to give you a brief update on how things have been going at the middle school, how we're working hard to get kids back into a normal routine and experience some of the things that they had loved about middle school in previous years. So when I kind of came up with this plan, return to normalcy came to me, and I realized, like, where did that come from? And I realized I was channeling my inner middle school social studies teacher, and return to normalcy was a campaign slogan by Warren G. Harding in the 1920s. And so I was going back to look at it and just make sure I had my facts correct. And interestingly enough, it really was a call to return to the way things were prior to World War I, the Red Scare, and then the Spanish flu, believe it or not. So that was not intended, but it's kind of appropriate return to normalcy as we're trying to get students comfortable and happy and get back to the routines that they loved. So just before I get into some of the clubs and highlighting the music program as well, there are two curriculum initiatives I'd like to speak about briefly. And the first one is our Literacy Matters work, which is the work that we're doing with our ELA teachers, 6, 7, and 8, under the direction of Nicole Wallbauer, our humanities director, along with Sarah Cordova, who's our consultant. So it's really kind of a 2 or 3 year old plan. The first year we got together, we really looked at the grammar and ways that we can teach grammar. Let's look at our scope and sequence. Let's align our units over the course of the year and over the course of 6th, 7th, and 8th grade. So that work took place over the course of last year, really, and they came out with a great document that really highlights some of the best techniques and best practices in teaching grammar to our students. And it's really, the nice thing about it is that, you know, all the teachers are involved in that 6, 7, and 8. So there's a continuum across the years. And additionally, there is interdisciplinary work done with that as well, where that information was shared with other teachers of other disciplines, social studies, and the other disciplines as well, because everyone really is a teacher of grammar. So, you know, so that work was accomplished, came up with a great document, great program that's being implemented at this point. This year, the shift that was on to a writing workshop and a workshop model and process writing. So again, it's 6, 7, and 8. We have professional development from Ms. Cordova. She comes in, I think it's about 14 or 15 times this year, where she's working with the ELA department. I've attended some of those trainings, chock full of information, chock full of work. The teachers really relish the opportunity to be able to work with one another across the grade level, 6, 7, and 8. You know, sometimes it's, when you're working in a secondary building, it could be isolating at times, and you're kind of with your own classroom. So the fact that they have these opportunities to really work together and, you know, pick up on the best practices from one another, as well as the new information that's being presented, is, you know, very beneficial. So again, we're finishing up the first unit on that. We just completed. We're going to look to do another unit on the writing workshop that started, you know, right when we get back from break, really, in early January, and hopefully we're going to be able to do a third one by the end of the year. And then next year we're looking to move into the reading aspect of it. So we're really, over the course of those three years, we'll kind of re-energized, renewed, revisited, however you'd like to describe it, our ELA program, and it'll be vertically aligned 6, 7, and 8. So we're very excited about that work, and we think it's going to really reap rewards for our students as we move forward. The other thing I just wanted to mention quickly was our STEM work that's being done under the direction of Dr. Joe Palicelli. So we really, similar, we're looking at 6, 7, and 8 curriculum. We're looking at evaluating the scope and sequence. Inquiry-based instruction is really the direction that we're moving in. The NGSS standards are coming into play, and it's really more about questioning and investigation. Mr. Rome and Mr. Redmond particularly have done a lot of work in that area already, so we're kind of ahead of the game, I think, to some degree, as they've implemented a lot of those best practices over the course of the past couple of years. But again, it is nice to have the 6th grade teachers that teach science and incorporated into that conversation. And we're looking at different topics and kind of really looking at everything that we need to accomplish in middle school and what's the best way to fit it into that 6th, 7th, and 8th continuum. And what are some of the best practices as far as, you know, investigation and experimentation and questioning. So we're very excited about that work. That started just the beginning of this year, and we're hoping that through the end of the year, by the end of the year, we'll have a really a strong document that's the initial scope and sequence for our science program as we move forward. So some of the exciting work that's going on curriculum-wise. Again, I just mentioned a couple of minutes ago, I'm so proud of the music program here. Even through last year, when things were a little more challenging as far as space was concerned, the 3 gentlemen that lead the band, the chorus, and orchestra just went above and beyond to find nooks and crannies where kids can rehearse and innovative spaces. And again, our music program has a lot of involvement. As you can see there, our 6th grade band has 35 students. Our 7th and 8th grade band has 68 students. Jazz band is a robust group. They have 26 students. And if you were able to see the concert a couple of weeks ago, it was one of the first times that we were able to have I think maybe the first time, all 3 of those groups perform together, which was a really nice addition, not necessarily planned, but it worked out that some of the folks, you know, maybe the 6th grade parents and the students who are in 6th grade band got to see, wow, what can happen by the time they're in 7th or 8th grade with the jazz band, and see the potential that's there that we see in the students all the time, but the parents might not necessarily, because they don't have that broad exposure. So again, they rehearse in the auditorium. Mr. Finnerty did an amazing job. We were looking for spaces, and he has the kids practice rehearse on the stage and also in the seats to ensure proper distancing. And we have a smart board set up in the back of the auditorium as well, where students can follow along.
Sorry, just, there was an issue with sending the presentation via your Chromebooks, so just in case you want to follow along, I did email I emailed it just now as a PDF.
Oh, thank you.
So if you could just check your email, you'll be
Okay.
able to follow along that way. Sorry about that.
I think it's hanging in board docs too. I think I just hung it in board docs. Okay.
Sorry.
Thank you. No, thank you. So, small group, just some of the notes there. Small group instruction, it's about 5 kids per lesson group, which is great. You really get to have that personalized touch from Mr. Finity, from the teachers. And they rotate through every 4 out of 5 weeks. So, I am very happy to report that the music program in general, particularly the band program, is alive and well. Students are coming in early, they're staying late, they're happy to be there, and it's something that, they're attached to that's, I guess, I don't want to say back to normal because we've always had it, but it's a continuum of what they've experienced before. Orchestra, similar. I mean, I say it all the time, but I am very lucky to have these three guys that are teachers here. Again, great involvement in the orchestra, 28 kids in 6th grade, 43 in 7th and 8th, and then chamber has 33 students. They all rehearse. We're able to get them squared away in the band room where you folks met earlier, which is when you first walk into the building, so they're able to do all their rehearsals in there. Again, small lessons group, 4 to 5 students per lesson group, and they rotate they rotate of which periods they come out of, so they're not missing the same classes. The concert, again, was amazing last Friday, December 3rd. A couple of years ago, I'm sure you folks remember the Electrify Your Strings with Mark Wood, who was a member of Trans-Siberian Orchestra. And that was such a wonderful community event where so many people were involved with. So as kind of an ode to, I think, Mark Wood, Mr. Vols included that song, Christmas Eve in Sarajevo, as their culminating song, which is just, it's amazing that the students at this level can perform that so well, and it's a tribute to them and their commitment, and Mr. Vols as well. But that's always such a great concert. They're also going to be visiting around the building, hopefully sometime next week, playing some impromptu little holiday music outside the wings where folks can come out and, and get a taste of what they're doing there. So we're looking forward to that as well. And the chorus program, of course, it's very similar. Right now we're practicing in the auxiliary gym. We have 37 students in 6th grade, 51 in 7th and 8th. The chromatics and the quartertones are the smaller ensemble groups. If you haven't had a chance to see them perform, they're wonderful as well. All of them are wonderful, and these other groups add in some dancing and some things of that nature. So it's really a lot of fun. It's a good program for the students. They really enjoy it. You have to audition to become part of it. And so again, Mr. Sponte, extremely creative in how he teaches, and extremely creative in getting the kids out in the community. So we're going to be visiting a community center across from the high school, I think, next week. We'll be performing for those folks over there. And the plan right now is to have them sing the national anthem at the Ducks game on May 27th. So a good opportunity for students to perform in front of some large groups. Our library is up and running, back running, full capacity, full speed ahead. All the different aspects of that we offered beforehand, we're offering as well. Students go in there for recess. They can go in in the mornings for extra help. Ms. Kalin has had all the ELA teachers in to help acclimate the students to the processes of checking out books. I think we have currently 400 books that are out, close to 400 books that are checked out for circulation with a student population of 450. That's pretty inspiring, I think. So we're very, very proud of that aspect of our program. As I said, all the EL classes have come in, ELA classes. The big read is where a group of students get together and read a book, and she usually raffles off some items. Right now, we're reading The Red Bandana, which many of you probably are familiar with. Is the story of the gentleman who, 9/11, who went up and saved a lot of people up and down the towers many times, and he was only recognized really by the red bandana that he wore, and they were able to figure out who he was, and it's kind of his story, and it's a very inspiring story. So not only the students are reading that, a lot of staff is reading that as well. And that's kind of a shared experience that emanated through the library. As I said, 360 books checked out at this time. The makerspace, kids are in their recess, usually 40, 50 kids or so in there during recess, accessing the makerspace or reading or chatting quietly with their friends or doing some homework. It's a very nice environment, calm environment. where kids have an opportunity to do many different things. One of the things they did just as a group was to create holiday cards for armed services members, and they sent those out, 120 of those out about a week or two ago. So lots of good things going on in the library. It's a great place for kids to come before school and during the course of the day. Our clubs are up and running. Our Best Buddies program is a very popular club. They've been working on creating cards for veterans as well. They're going to send out for during the holidays. And they also worked on a project where they painted inspirational messages on rocks and placed them around the building. So I'm thinking that'll be kind of cool in the spring. There'll probably be a little bit of lull this winter where we're not outside as much due to the weather. But then once we get back outside in the spring, it's a nice thing that you just kind of walking along, you see something that's inspiring and makes you feel good. So it's just a small little enhancement to what we're doing here that I think hopefully sets the tone of what we try to accomplish at the middle school. The art club is a new club this year. We had students that are interested in art and creating art, so that meets after school. I think it's Tuesdays, I'm not sure. But they're currently drawing pictures or using watercolors to create with the theme of nature. And they're also teaming up with Contemplations. And we hadn't had Contemplations club in about, I guess, probably a year or two maybe. And that's creative writing and the arts. It's a magazine that we publish. So Miss Zambrano is leading that group, and she's working in conjunction with the art club to get some nice artwork in there to go along with the creative writing and the poems and whatnot that are going to be included in that. So it's a nice little synergy that they have going there. Leadership Club, they've tied in a lot of their work to the Wildcat with Character themes. So the first, I guess it was in October when we had the positivity. One of their activities was to create the positive Post-it. So they stayed after one day and kids came into school and all the lockers were covered with positive messages, that just were inspiring. And not only that, they actually came into the main office and they put them on the teachers' mailboxes as well, which is really nice. I still have mine up. I need it more some days than others, but it's really nice. It's a nice reminder of what we're about and what we're trying to emulate as a school. And gratitude was the November's, I'm sorry, and they wrote letters to service people and also to someone special in their life that has had an impact. So we try to, move along. They're trying to follow along with the themes for Wildcats with Character. And December is responsibility, so we're working on food drives to support not clothing drives to support some folks that are less fortunate, in the community. So lots of good things going on. Really good attendance at the clubs. This is kind of a little bit redundant. These are clubs, the quarter tones and the chromatics. I mentioned those a little bit earlier. Those folks, again, try to get out into the community and perform as well. We also have a new Triam Music Honor Society, so you might be familiar with that from the high school, and usually high schools have that, but they also have a middle school version of that. So we're excited to offer that to students this year as well. I think we had 25 or 30 kids who were interested in becoming part of that club already, and that's Mr. Samante who's overseeing that club as well. And then just some of the physical attributes for the physical improvements, I guess you might say, of the middle school, and the first one being the greenhouse. You folks got a chance to see it earlier, and anyone in the audience, I'd encourage you over a weekend if you want to peek in the windows and check out what's going on in there. Some really, really great things going on there. I have to give credit to Dr. Palicelli for really kind of envisioning a really good system that we have in there. We made some recent upgrades. We put some new tables in there. We have hydroponic systems in there, shelving units that allows really multiple classes to be in there at the same time and not kind of step on each other's toes. So there's storage room for each class in their individual experiments. And as we move along, we're finding more and more interesting ways to use the greenhouse or enhancements. Some of the things we're talking about, maybe raised bed gardens, come the spring. So it's really kind of, and the kids are leading that charge. They were asking if they can have some raised bed gardens. So it's really something new that's very exciting. We're excited to see where that takes us and to continue along. Which is really it's actually going to be very, very helpful with the NGSS standards as well, with the new science standards. That's what I just discussed. Some outdoor space. Mr. Poole has presented in previous meetings, I believe, on the possibility of having some outdoor learning pavilions. So that's one of the sites that's possible for us. That's out between wings 2 and 3, where they had done grounds crew had done a great job over the past summer, clearing out some of that space. So that's an opportunity for us to leverage that space for outdoor learning pavilions if that's the direction that we choose to go. I would say also that this year I think buildings and grounds kind of reconfigured, and we have a gentleman here who's helping us out 2 or 3 days a week, and it's been extremely noticeable. He's doing a great job just keeping the grounds in good shape, and you know, it's anyone who comes here every day has noticed the difference. So I appreciate all the work that he's been doing as well. New roof on the athletic shed out in the back by the track that happened over the course of the fall, and looks great. And it was banged it out in probably a couple of days. They did a really good job on that, and just another physical improvement to the middle school, which we of course appreciate. And as you can see here, our gyms were repainted over the course of the summer, and these new beautiful logos there's 2 of them in the main gym. There's 1 in here. And they just bring so much pride. The kids came back into school after they were installed and couldn't stop talking about it and couldn't wait to start having, you know, athletic contests in the gym, and just like being in the gym. The colors are very vibrant. You know, they obviously match the theme, the color theme for our school, and the logos are just really, really, really cool. The kids love them as well. So lots of really good things going on as far as the building is concerned. And just 2 other quick things I wanted to mention is just really a shout out to the custodial crew. So the space we're in right here is used based on social distancing and sticking to the guidelines. There's 100 chairs in here during the course of the day where students can be 6 feet apart and eat their lunch. And then, you know, after the last lunch period, the custodians come in, they clear all the chairs out, it gets set up for volleyball or whatever other activities are in here. When that's over, the guys at night come back in, replace everything where it belongs, 6 feet apart. And it's really, it's a lot of work, and they love to do it because they love having the kids have the opportunity to engage in all of those, you know, extracurricular activities that make a school other than just you know, academics. So that happens in here. Girls volleyball is currently going on in here after school, and then it also happens in the cafeteria. They do the same thing, the same process in the cafeteria, which is where our cheerleaders are able to practice after school. So I really just wanted to add that in there because I do so much appreciate all the work that they're doing to, you know, to give the kids as normal experience or the opportunities that we want to give them during the course of the year. In tight spaces, they've really stepped up and helped us out. So just a little update on what's going on here. I appreciate your time. Thank you for all of your support and everything you do to make us, allow us to have a beautiful school and identify areas for improvement. The kids are definitely reaping their rewards, as is the staff, so we truly appreciate that. So thank you. Any questions, I would be happy to answer.
I don't think so. Thank you so much, Mr. Van, for welcoming us to the middle school and for to the students and for your presentation.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
You too. Up to votes and resolutions. Can I get a motion to accept the policies for first reading? Or first, actually, Mr. Hayward, can you read the memo for us?
Great, thank you. The policies that are listed for a first reading were reviewed and revised excuse me, at the November 18th Policy Committee meeting. The first one, 1230, public participation at board meetings. This policy will replace the current policy, 3220, public expression at meetings. This policy outlines how the public can participate at board meetings, including where in the agenda for items relevant to the agenda versus items that are not on the agenda, as well as the amount of time allotted. The second one, 1300, employee activities. This policy will replace current policy 6430, employee activities. This policy recognizes employees as citizens to engage in political activities and to exercise their constitutionally protected rights to address matters of public concern. However, they may not use classrooms or school grounds or school-related activities to promote their personal political views and beliefs. The next one, 1400, public complaints. This policy will replace the current policy, 3230, public complaints. This policy explains the process for the public to make complaints within the district by following the appropriate faculty and administrative levels prior to bringing a complaint to the Board of Education. The next policy, regulations, and exhibits, all three are tied together. It's 1420, complaints about curricular or instructional materials. This policy will replace the current policy 8330, objection to instructional materials. This policy states how criticisms of instructional materials that are in the schools that cannot be resolved informally by making a formal complaint to the superintendent of schools. The regulations outline the process that will be followed for the handling of complaints concerning any textbook, library book, or material, and any other instructional material used in the district schools, including the review of the complaint and materials by an instructional review committee. And the following 1420E, the form, this exhibit is for anyone to request a reevaluation of instructional materials in accordance with the policy and regulations.
Can I get a motion to accept policies 1230, 1300, 1400, 1420, 1420E, and 1420R for first read? Henry, second Tom. Any discussion or questions? All in favor? 7-0. Mr. Poole is just letting me know that we went right from student performances to votes and resolutions and reports and reviews, but we skipped over statements from residents that pertain to agenda items only. Were there any residents here who had statements that pertain to an agenda item? No? Okay, then we have, there's time at the end of the meeting for non-agenda statements from residents. So, thank you, Mr. Poole. Okay, next we have policies to accept for the second reading. Can I get a motion to accept policies 1000, 1050, 1120, 1120E, 1120R, 1130, 1145, and 1222 to accept for the second reading? Can I have a motion? Rob, second. Jim, any discussion or questions? All in favor? 7-0. Can I have a motion to approve the CPSE, CSE, and 504 meeting summary dated December 2nd? Henry, second. Rob, any discussion or questions? All in favor? 7-0. Can I get a motion to approve the October 2021 Treasurer's Report? Megan, second. Jim, any discussion or questions? All in favor? 7-0. There are 3 curriculum and instruction resolutions. Is it okay to take them as a block? Okay. Can I get a motion to approve 2021-2022 117 through 119? Tom, second. Rob, any discussion or questions? All in favor? 7-0. There are 2 HR resolutions. Okay to take those as a block? Okay, can I get a motion to approve 21-22, 120, and 21-22, 121? Jim, second. Rob, any discussion or questions? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Any further discussion or questions? Okay to vote. All in favor? 7-0. There are 6 business and operations resolutions. Is it okay to take those as a block? Okay, can I get a motion to approve 21, 22, 122 through 126? Megan, second Henry. Any discussion or questions? All in favor? Yes, Tom?
Mr. Shard, what's the location of, where's the location of that? Yeah. Ms. Stark here? It's not in one of the bathrooms.
Could you just say the question one more
That
time?
urinal that needs to be, that is not the bathrooms by the middle school library, that is a separate bathroom.
Correct.
Where is that bathroom, Ms. Stark here? That's the,
Right in when you come in, the first wing on your right.
so in the 6th grade wing.
Any other discussion or questions? All in favor? 7-0. Okay, can I get a motion to approve the personnel agenda? Mike, second Rob. Any discussion or questions? All in favor? 7-0. Okay. Do we have any communications, Brian? Or Mr. Hayward, sorry. Okay, any additional comments from residents? No? Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting? Sorry, Henry, Tom, all in favor? 7-0. Okay, thank you. Additional comments from residents? Is that okay to reopen the meeting? Is everybody okay with that? Can I get a motion to, that's okay. Can I get a motion to open public session? Rob, second. Henry, all in favor? 7-0. Okay, we go back to additional comments from residents. Mr. Wood, are we still recording? We're still recording? Okay, great. Just want to double check. Okay, you may go to the podium. That's okay. We go pretty quickly at the end there sometimes.
I'm
so.
sorry. I thought we're towards the end, but I didn't know. I thought your group was done, and then we go next. I apologize
no
for that.
Problem.
I just wanted, my story is still the same. Thank you once again, Mr. Poole, for taking all my emails. I'm sorry, but I will constantly, my kids are number one in my family. I just wanted to address the mask issue real quick, and I'm sorry I'm not wearing one, but it says on the website, the Hochul's website for the government, that New York State and the State's Department of Health continue to strongly recommend mask wearing in all public indoor settings as an added layer of protection. Strongly recommend. So, and we're 6 feet apart, so with all due respect, that's why I'm not wearing one. And then also, I just wanted to mention really quickly that my son, he's in middle school in 7th grade, and he was told by his teacher and all the students that, let's see, when you have your mask down, and if we get sick, make sure you think of my son being quarantined and sick for Christmas. So, I don't want my child being mentally twisted and making him feel like guilty that he's getting other people sick. I'd appreciate it if this teacher, I'm not going to mention the name, but maybe everyone needs to know that my child is not responsible for this teacher's health. If she is that concerned, maybe she should stay home or like teach from home or something, but the students should not be made to feel that that guilt and that sense of it's just, I don't have the words from it, and I'm sorry. Once again, I didn't have anything planned for tonight. I just came straight from work with the kids. But it's not my child's responsibility to make everyone feel safe. And I think that's wrong, to make the kids feel guilty and responsible for this person's health. And lastly, I just want to say for Pennsylvania, I know we all know this, the Supreme Court on Friday struck down the school mask mandate. So I think we all know this is political. Everyone can have their own opinions about it. But again, once again, I just wish that we could all have our own rights towards for our children. And I think we know best what's right for our children. Once again, for us, it's health, eating healthy, exercising, getting vitamin D. I know we're all different or immunocompromised, but you know, there's natural ways, or not to avoid everything, but there's other ways for us to be healthy. And I think that's it. There was something else, but I can't remember. Again, I just thank you for listening to me again, and I will just continue to fight. And there's no way my kids are getting vaccines, and our group is gathering in numbers, because we're not going to be forced to do that, that's for sure. But anyway, thank you, I appreciate it, and I'm sorry for opening it again when it was closed.
Oh, that's okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any additional comments from residents?
Ms. Anderson, if I could just correct something. Masks are absolutely required by New York State requirement and law for being inside of a school. There's no question about that, and I'd be happy to anybody who wishes to give me a call to find that regulation, share it with them, but they are not optional.
In a school building,
Yeah.
correct. Okay. Any additional comments from residents? No? Okay. Can I get a motion to adjourn the meeting? Tom, second Henry. All in favor? 7-0. Thank you.